Hello there, I'm David. Welcome to another video. And we're a real safe company, and I'm here at our Hertfordshire warehouse where I'm making these videos. And this is a quick introductory video to our Bloomsbury 40k range of safes. You may have seen the other video for the Bloomsbury 40k digital safes. These are the key locking versions, so the analog versions, if you like. So they're available in 4 sizes, just like the digital, and I've just put a little label on here. So that's the size 1. And what I'll do is there'll be a link to each individual size as I go through in the top right-hand corner. And that's the size 2. Again, there'll be the link top right. Size 3, link top right. And the biggest, the size 4. Again, with your link top right. But stay with me and I'll give you a brief overview of these safes. So this range have been on the market since the early 1990s. They're manufactured in Italy by a company called Technomax. And here they are in the Technomax catalogue. They make a number of safes. They actually make an additional size, which we don't keep. But this is the safe, the Technomax Gold Moby Trony. So that's how they're known around the world. But in the UK, Burton Safes, a very well-respected safe supplier, have marketed them as their Burton Torino safe. We marketed them as the Bloomsbury 40k. Originally, Burton had them in this same original blue colour that we sell them in. Of late, they've had them refinished in a sort of black speckly colour. But it's the same product, the same safe. So if you're looking to do your price comparisons, you want to be comparing our Bloomsbury 40k range with the Burton Torino, both S2 rated safes, which means £40,000 worth of valuables for insurance purposes or £4,000 in cash. Please bear in mind when you're looking at prices that our price is fully fitted, including the safe, including fitting effectively, and including VAT, whereas you'll find our competitors will be adding that on. So you need to do a total calculation and see what they're going to charge you if you're going to do a like-for-like calculation, and make sure you make sure you're comparing the key locking with the key locking in the right size, or the digital and the digital in the right size, if you see what I mean. Of course, with us, it's all done in-house. With the majority of online safe retailers, they're going to send the safe to you on a courier, and then try and find some local locksmith to come and install it for you. But with us, it's all done in-house, all by our own employees. So here's a fascinating bit of information. To my knowledge, Which magazine, the trusted, impartial consumer magazine, have only ever tested safes once, and that was in March 2006. And here we have the Burton Torino, and you'll see in that colour, so the key locking version in the colour that we sell them in, was the best on test, the Burton Torino, 85% score. So it was the size 2 safe that they tested, and the price £259, not fitted obviously, but that was a very reasonable cost, highly discounted online at the time, that sort of thing. Without installation, they obviously have gone up significantly since then. You'll see here, they say it's the only model on test that we couldn't get into at all. So that's quite a testament to its security. Interestingly, they went on to test 2 of the same safe, which they didn't do with the Burton. So the second and third place were both effectively the same safe. The Chubb, at the time, the Chubb black box, the model 2020, the smaller one, and the model 3030, which at the time, obviously, we were still in business and we were selling safes at that time. These all became, incredibly popular. And then shortly after, Chubb decided to discontinue the black box range, and people continued to ask for it for 10 years afterwards. But the Burton came out on top, which is the Technomax, as we know. So, in fact, the key locking version is the Gold Moby Key. Sorry, I was showing you the digital version, which I've done many other videos on. I've got a new one coming up on that as well. So they're all rated. They're rated the S2 rating, so exactly the same as the digital that I was showing you. So first off, why are these safes so good? Well, I'll link now again, and I'll put a link at the very end of this video to the super long 20-minute long video where I look at the range, the digital version, and explain all the reasons. But I'm going to briefly go through them now. So I'll pick the size 3 because it's the one I can get to closest to film. So we have this all steel construction, and the door is actually made from one solid plate of 10mm steel that they cut at the factory, and I've seen it, with a laser, so that there's nowhere to get any tooling in to try and prise anything open. As you can see, I just about get my fingernail in there. So typically with a safe, you have quite a big gap there because they're not made to such precision, and you can bang something in and try and prise it open. Doesn't always work, but that's the feature on this one. Your double-bitted security keys, very high security. Your multi-way free rotating bolts. So the idea is if someone's trying to put a hacksaw down there, that the bolts turn. I mean, it would never happen, but you know, that's the advantage there. You can see that the way the door is chamfered there, so that as it shuts, you can open it, you retain that complete tiny gap. You have these reinforcing welded receiver plates at the bolts. You'll see the bolt there, they lock into, so which makes it incredibly strong. Take the carpet out to go on to the favourite bit, because installing a safe, it's not just about the safe, it's about the installation. And most of the safes only have tiny little holes, maybe 1 or 2. Some have 4, but they're tiny little holes just for, you know, it's a token fixing. You know, all you could do is screw it with a couple of tiny little rule bolts or something, but tiny ones. Whereas these have 4 very large holes. So 4 in the base, as you can see there. I'll just turn my flash on. If I just lift up the shelf, which you can take out if you don't want it, you've got 2 more at the back that's for base fixing. Most often we can't base fix in most properties, so we're going to use these 4 holes at the back to bolt it to the wall. And because it's one of our guys doing it, we have a method that we use. We have lots of different size bolts and types of bolts and fixings for different surfaces. But essentially what we're looking for is a primary and a secondary fixing plane. So the primary fixing plane could be the back, so 4 bolts through the back, or the primary fixing could be 4 bolts through the base. We always try to use all the 8 fixing holes wherever possible, but most often it's going to be the 4 bolts through the back. Typical installation is going to be inside a fitted wardrobe, even if there's a back panel there, but as long as there's a brick wall behind, and then we'll drill through that back panel and bolt it to the wall. I'll just cut to a couple of installation shots so you can see what a typical installation looks like. And then what we're going to do is put 4 additional fixings as your secondary fixings down into the base of the wardrobe, let's say the top of the plinth of the wardrobe, the raised plinth, and that will give you a very, very firm fixing. There's going to be individual videos for each of the safe, each size of the safe, that is. So key locking isn't super popular. Some people just don't trust electronics and prefer a key. So we only keep a few of these in stock, whereas we keep, you know, hundreds of the digital versions, because, you know, it's like 1 in 100 sale where somebody will want the key locking. And I totally respect that. It is analog technology. What's to go wrong? It's a key lock. As long as you look after the key, and maybe a word on that. So these keys are, you know, they're alloy. They're quite complicated, double-sided, and they're delicate. You can't really be carrying this on your key ring and sort of boshing it down every time you throw your big bunch of keys down, because what will happen is these end pieces start to wear over, and then it will stop working. So they've got to be looked after. So just something to think about where you're going to keep these 2 keys on a regular basis once you've bought a key locking safe. With the emergency keys for the digital versions, because they're only used in an emergency, you don't need to keep those in the house. You can keep those at work, or a loved one, or somewhere safe, and then you just routinely open your safe with a keypad. And then you just use those keys if there's some sort of an emergency. You can't open it because you can't remember your code or something like that. So this is us. Please check us out on Trustpilot and our website, londonsafes.co.uk. You can see what people have to say about us on Trustpilot. It's very hard to get reviews from people, from customers when they've bought a safe, because it's an intensely sort of private security matter, and I get that. So we're very grateful when people do write a review. I'm very dubious about some websites that have got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of reviews for safes, especially the ones where the review mechanism is contained in-house, if you see what I mean. It's not an independent company. I would read our reviews. Some of them are so complimentary that they look fake, but I assure you, my hand is on my heart, they're completely true, and people are blown away by the service that we provide and the products that we install for them. It's about subscribers on YouTube and likes. Please consider liking this video if you do like it, and also subscribing to this channel. It really does mean that we'll get more exposure. We're only a tiny little channel, and we really could use some more subscriptions and some likes so that we can spread the word about our fantastic service and our amazing safes. Thank you for watching. I'm going to cut to a little cartoon video that we had made. It was quite expensive, so I always put it at the end of the video. I hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Free delivery and free installation. Your safe will be delivered and professionally installed by one of our own vetted employees who will arrive in an unmarked vehicle. Get in touch online or call us on 0800 711 7892.